Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
Good for that. Yeah. And here we are. Hot 702.5 FM, and it is Get It Together with Jnine
and Jezzi
and Tay.
And here we are. Yeah, these Thursdays come quick. They really do.
Right.
And I look forward to it because our conversations be so great and so informative and engaging that I look forward to it. It really does.
They be lit.
It does.
They be fire.
So we're going to take a moment, and we have a guest that is really not a guest under any circumstances. But I want to take a moment to breathe. Everybody, we're going to take this moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Get that exchange, that oxygen, fill up them lungs, and let it all go. I always do that.
Right?
Let it all go. Yeah. Shake it off.
Right?
Yes.
Shake it off.
Because all we have is moments, and we're in this moment right now, at this moment in time. So how is everybody? How are you?
How are you?
I am okay. It's for Thursday. It's okay. This week is flying by. For sure.
It is. How about you,
is.
Tay? How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Like, we have a good day of the week because I can't complain by the time Thursday hit. It's Friday. So
Right.
now, if it was Monday show,
Right.
Might be dragging. Right? Yeah. Understood. So, yeah, we're going to jump right on into our restaurants that didn't quite make it. And I think we need to, I'm going to go ahead and take these glasses off. These are my new specs. Y'all see my new specs?
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like, they are really the seeing glasses. Yeah, this is really the teacher on your ass.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So
you
everything is a little more crystal clear.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
Then leave
saying?
them on if you can see.
Well, it's not that I can't see because they're not necessarily for the up close. They are
Not the old
inside
lady
joke.
look. I be doing
Inside
that for
joke.
sure.
Mine's is distance.
Oh, okay.
My issue is being able to see distance, and but I do, I make it work. But I need to bring in Miss Candy Cane into this conversation because she is the co-host, and we have some really good stuff. So I'm going to, without further ado, this is my niece. Family is talented. This is Candy Cane, and
Hey, best friend.
welcome.
Hey, hello world.
All right. Look, what's happening?
Yeah, happy to be here.
Good. We are happy to have you.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to learn why we are so happy to have you in just a little bit. I'm about to talk about these restaurants that just didn't get it together this week. And it's a little, I'm going to the C grades because the B grades there's too many of them. So it's starting to say to me that there's a little bit of mediocrity going on in the restaurant industry. And I'm going to call it how I see it. The trend is when they have scheduled visits by the health department.
They know when to clean it up.
Yeah, but that's when they get their dings. Then they clean it up for the re-inspection, and then they get another evaluation, and they back in the B's and C's. This is a trend in Las Vegas. Because what I'm doing now is I go a little further since they're not telling me why they're getting these grades, because I guess they probably don't have time.
Right.
I go and look at the history now. So I'm in the health department looking at the history of the restaurants in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is the trend that I'm finding. It's pretty like they get laxed, but then they're coming on a scheduled visit and you get it wrong, you clean it up long enough to get it right, so you get back in the A, but then 1 year later, you back, so. Anyway.
Is that how often they do them? Is just once a year? It can't be.
It's an annual inspection, and then there's inspections in between based on people calling. Like I had to make a call, y'all. I had to make a call.
Another one?
Well, no.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was about to say, girl, you been busy.
No wonder why you feeling like Hurricane Hillary. Nigga, you reporting everybody.
Right.
But, so, no, they do annual, and then they do inspections when necessary, when somebody sees that they're not disposing of things properly and, environmental health and all that type of stuff. So when they get the phone call, then they got to show up. So these restaurants made the hit list. They're in the C's. It's Pupusaria El Zun.
Here we go. Don't have no difficult name. She calling you out.
And I don't know why you would. Your name of the restaurant would be so difficult to pronounce. I'ma spell it.
No.
I told Cecily she's gonna have to help me. Sis, you're gonna have to help me in the
here.
Right. So it's Pupuseria. So Pupusaria.
Oh, okay.
El Zunel Zel.
I'm done.
They're at 2081 North Decatur Boulevard. They got 46 demerits, and they were closed on April 15th. So if anybody out there,
seen that before.
It's 2081 North Decatur. That's the neighborhood.
The old neighborhood.
The old neighborhood. So, yeah, they were closed on August 15th. They need to get it together. China One on 921 South Rampart.
Surprise.
Got to see 30 demerits. I don't know how you describe Chinese food anymore.
Shut it all down.
It's a difficult cuisine. It's a difficult cuisine to dine at now.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's been for a few years now.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to move right on past that. Shake and Crab. 6010 South Rainbow Boulevard. Got a C grade. Got 36 demerits. Now, this is the one I decided to do a little history on because everybody can't open up a crab
And they
spot.
open up quickly. They're on like every corner now, it feels like. How did we go from 3 crab spots to 15 in 2 years?
And it's more than 15. Some of these places that Oh, I'm sorry. Some of these places have they're almost like little hole in the walls. They popped up at the mall. They popped up just all in the community, and everybody just can't be. Where the crab? Where you getting these crabs from?
Coming from? Right? Exactly.
In
like
Vegas.
That chicken. Like where all these fried chicken spots coming from?
A lot of
get
water
it.
over there.
Right, not a lot of water.
And I'm not so sure that San Francisco is doing all the supplying because San Francisco have enough seafood restaurants of themselves that are right on the bay. So I'm not so sure I'm sharing my supplier. I mean, I'm getting the bulk.
Right.
So I don't know. But anyway, Shake and Crab, 6010 South Rainbow. So I did a little digging because I want to know about the history of the restaurant in particular. And so they were closed. 421 they were closed with 37 demerits on a routine inspection. They shut you down. 421-23. Right?
When did they open? Did you get that?
I didn't go all the way back to their opening, but I went I went back to. So here's the order. 421 they were closed. 6/8/21 reinspection. They got an A. See, this is that swing that I was talking about.
Okay.
Then on 4/11 they got a reinspection. 3/17 they got a B on a routine inspection.
Okay.
Flipped the script. They came back on 4/11 to reinspect. They got the A.
Okay.
They get slipping again on 2/1/23. So they're actually every 6 months or so they popping in on their ass.
Oh wow.
They routine. They get a B. 20 demerits. February 28, 23 they get an A on reinspection. So you slip in between, and it's probably too much to even clean up by the time your regular inspection comes around. And I want to know why you were closed.
Right.
Shake and Crab on South Rainbow. I want to know why you were closed. Because these are people that are serving high-end, supposedly, dishes. You ain't getting a crab for less than $25.
Right.
And he's skinny.
Skinny legs. Skinny legs.
Waste of time.
Anyway, so yeah, that we're gonna move on. But this one kind of disturbs me a little bit because it's black owned, and I cannot be partial. I gotta give it where it is.
Oh.
But it's Southern Express, and I've done comedy there, and we do comedy there.
Wow, okay.
So Southern Express, tell me what's going on.
What happened?
This is a 2810 Maryland Parkway. You got a C grade. That's 26 demerits. 26 is a lot. But yeah, what's going on? So I dug a little bit because I want to, how we doing. And so on 718 they got a B grade. On 12/27/22 they were closed. On a survey, and I don't even know what that is. I didn't even dig to see what a survey is from the health department. I don't know. Is it what? Like, I don't know.
E-Carry said not the Express.
And then 1/11/23 they got an A back on reinspection. So it took them several weeks to get things in line. But my thing is, and this is why the topic that we're going to be talking about is so important today. Soul food restaurants have to do better. And I'm speaking to my black community. I'm speaking to the community as a whole and the restaurant industries that we patronize. We need to do better in terms of the food choices that we're serving.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
we need to, sometimes that buffet style doesn't always work.
Right.
Because that requires a lot of maintenance when people come up and do buffet style. You got to be ready, you know what I'm saying? Utensils and cleanliness and changing out and the temperature of the food. It's a lot that goes into that. So I'm not saying that's the issue, but anyway, Southern Express, as well as all the other restaurants that are out here serving, get it together.
Right. Get it together.
So anyway, Southern Taste Seafood, it's a mobile, 939 Empire Mesa in Henderson, got 36 demerits. They was 2 minutes from a closure. Yeah, and so these are the ones, the next four that I read. I'm going to read them off real quick and we're going to move on. Zai Restaurant, 700 East Fremont. Katsua Ton Ton.
I don't even. What kind of food is that?
It's Ton Ton. So
Asian of some sort.
And it's South Durango. The Bagel Nook in Las Vegas on Lavender Hill and the Crispy Town Prep, South Maryland. All have that swinging effect of do well on reinspection, mess up on annual inspection. So you can get it together.
And these places are some of them are kind of new, so it's like they really got to get it together.
They do. Now, I always like to do the disclaimer that it was tons and tons and tons, even churches that got A's, and they keep A's.
See, look.
So the reason why I bring this to you is because it can be done. They're doing it.
Right. It can be done.
Even with the lack of help, it's all about educating the help you do have. In management and owners, I hold you responsible. Now, but that's why we got to change how we're eating. So we decided we're going to kind of dive into
our
the vegan restaurants. Look at Candy. She's sitting there proud.
Yeah, that's
She's like, it's about damn
I said into her too. I was like,
into
I got some vegan food.
Let's get into it. Let's get into a healthier lifestyle, making healthier choices in a time where they are manufacturing your meat.
Everything.
They are, they're actually, many of the restaurants in my mind too are actually using some of the things y'all say y'all would never eat. Because if you'd be a damn fool to think that with all the food and 1 billion people on the planet that they're not playing with your food.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
There's not enough animals,
right?
Production,
right,
in the world at this point to accommodate every restaurant.
Right.
I'm not. You would never sell me on that. Right. So they've been giving you vegan things. They've been giving you manufactured things, and this has been going on a long time now. Y'all need to understand, the FDA approved this manufactured meat, chicken in particular, way back in 2022, 2021 or some shit like that. It was certainly before the Popeyes craze.
Right.
And I knew when I bit into it, it wasn't real chicken, because there is no way it should be this thick, cooked this quickly, deep fried, crunchy like this. because it was screaming by the time the whole thing went down. And I went and got one.
Screaming.
But so we got to start thinking about eating healthy, and that's why we have my niece on the show, because she's been doing this lifestyle for quite some time, and she's quiet with it. She don't force you with it, but she gonna introduce you to some sautéed vegetables real quick.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes,
So-
I try to educate.
So we went to Tacotarian, and the first thing I saw that I was really impressed with, they had a vegan Bible, and so.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Because
I
my
missed
first
that.
question was, what do you guys use?
Cashews.
Cashews. Yep. And she pulled out the Bible, and they said they got rid of anything cashew. I was like, oh. So it was unless you have a soy allergy, everything else was pretty good. So
So
Okay.
what'd y'all order?
no.
I ordered 3 tacos and rice and beans, but my tacos I don't remember. I mean, because they were named after me, like carne asada, but it wasn't carne asada. It was something else. And
Seitan.
then pork, and then chicken, but it wasn't none of the above. It was something else. But I don't know. I was like, it looked good, and I don't usually eat pork, so I'm gonna try me a pork taco since it's not real pork. So, but I don't really know what was in it.
She was just eating.
Yes.
I didn't either, really. Now, what I really did like was the comedian went with us afterwards because he just didn't want to keep the party. He didn't want. He would needed the party to keep
the
going
party
with this
going.
energy right here, this feminine energy we bring. And so, but he had ordered the
Potato taco.
man.
That was pretty good.
It's called a Dorado. It's a deep fried tortilla with mashed potatoes, which is my favorite dish on earth. Mashed potatoes, lettuce, and pico de gallo, and something else. And it was what it was supposed to be. Never would I have thought I would have enjoyed a mashed potato taco deep fried.
Right.
Taco.
And anybody you tell it to, they're like, ugh. I'm like, no, it wasn't like that. You just got to try it.
Yeah, and it wasn't like mashed potatoes and gravy. You know what I
Right.
mean? It wasn't
Right.
that thick texture. It was kind of soft, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got the quesadilla, and the beans and rice was smacking like anybody else's, restaurant. But that quesadilla, because I'm a cheese person, I can't do that cheese. Cheese I did
can't
not
do
like.
vegan
It was
cheese.
sweet. It was
Yeah.
off. It was a little weird. So I ate one piece of that. But you enjoyed my entire plate.
The munchies
wow.
had kicked in at that point. You heard.
It did not go to waste.
So, Candy, talk to us about this vegan cheese, because it
Yeah.
was given Velveeta, it was given Cheese Whiz and shit. Like, it was just not. But I
So
ate it because.
I was
Yeah.
the first to say vegan cheese is not the same as regular cheese. It's different, but a lot of times it's made with like different nuts. So, or sometimes they'll make it with oats, or sometimes they'll use like a modified food starch, which I think is like a potato derivative, something like that.
Okay.
So I make a lot of my cheeses at home. So I use cashews. I'm sorry, Taylor, but to me, cashews make the best cheese. So I use
Guess I'll never
cashews
find
and
out.
water
Guess I'll
and
never find
nutritional
out.
yeast.
Hold on.
That's good to know.
What are we making cheese with?
Cheese. Cashews.
Cheese.
Cashews are
Like
used
I'm
a
about to make
lot.
some macaroni and cheese tonight, but yeah, I take the cashews and I put it in my blender with you got to boil them first, and then you put it in the blender with some nutritional yeast and some salt and sometimes a little apple cider vinegar, and it tastes pretty cheesy.
That's crazy.
Interesting. That is very interesting.
Y'all can try it. Let me know.
Very interesting.
Oh, I'm with it. I'm with it. Absolutely. Okay, yeah, because I couldn't, even though I was eating it, I like food. And I like different,
Right.
I'm a fondue kind of person too,
And I
so it
love
kind of
cheese,
reminded
so
me of
Right.
Cheese was a hard thing to let go on the vegan
I
lifestyle.
could imagine.
Yeah, it's nothing quite the same, but I think the health benefits that you get from not eating cheese are my reason for letting it go.
Okay.
Okay.
And so where do you find your recipes?
Right.
Because I know a lot of this is online at this point, but you've been doing recipes before, for a while.
So Instagram is one of my main go-to for recipes, but I also like to try a lot of different vegan restaurants for ideas. And then once I get ideas, I kind of go and research how to make
That's
them.
how
My favorite spot
makes
to get
sense.
food, vegan food, is Oakland. Oh my gosh, they have
Really?
like one place called
She went,
yes.
yeah, she went
They're
out there and had a good
vegan.
time.
Listen,
I heard about
yes,
it. They
day.
had a real popular one that
Oh,
took
yeah.
over quick ways.
Helen
We
Nuts
were
is
Quick
the best
Ways
one
on
so
Grant.
far.
So
Okay.
what was
What's
the
it
one that we
called?
went to out there? Vegan
Solely
soul
vegan.
food.
Solely vegan. That's
So if-
that's
if you guys didn't hear us, we talking about the Bay. We talking about Oakland.
Oakland, right.
Oakland has
A variety
the
of
vegan
everything.
takeover.
Yes, they do.
And I don't know if
so
it was
many vegan
because
soul food
all
spots.
the .com showed up, and then you got all the people who had heads up on the meat factory coming to Emeryville,
Yeah.
and so they
Ugh.
probably decided, them and their families. Let me tell you something. When Sprouts opened and Whole Food opened, and everybody was on the bougie talking about we don't want to shop there, it's too expensive. Whoop whoop.
Well, we was right there. Front
Listen,
there.
yeah,
We was
because
right there.
believe me, the owner of Sprouts and the owner of Whole Foods and everybody associated with that production warned their family of this day.
Mm-hmm.
I
Very
ain't playing.
Very
They
true.
said
Yeah.
you better start shopping where I'm opening up the store, and tell all your friends and family that this is where they need to be shopping to get spinach burritos. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anyway, I digress.
But what I wanted to ask her again, what was your favorite restaurant in Oakland? Your favorite vegan
called
spot?
Hella Nuts.
Hella Nuts. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to put that in my arsenal when I hit Oakland next weekend.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have this like fried fish sandwich. It's not fish, it's like oyster mushrooms. Fire. Best I've ever had.
Okay. Hella Nuts.
That is, yeah.
going.
So, MJ, you joined when we were talking about reasons why the community needs to start making healthier alternatives, choosing a better lifestyle for longevity. Because I see, it's going down in these streets, and it's, I would imagine if I just took this nationwide and just started looking at all the restaurants that are getting hit by the health department, because at some point you got to step up. So shout out to the people who actually go into the restaurants and keep them on their toes. So Eateries, not the Express. Yeah, the Express. So mushrooms. There was no leading into that, but it's
They're
so
great. They're a great meat alternative. They are a great meat alternative.
I have more questions before we got there, but okay.
Yeah, we can pump the brakes.
I want to know. I best believe I want to know about the mushrooms because I got questions about those too. But what is your favorite vegan meal, like altogether, that you like to make at home and eat out in public?
Oh, finding what I like in public is a little bit hard. It depends on who's making the food. That's why I like Oakland. They just have a lot more ethnic vegan spots. There's a few out here where I'm at, but there's not like a whole lot. So those oyster mushrooms or lion's mane mushrooms, and then you fry them. So I fry them like fish. So I put the same. Probably the batter isn't as healthy considering the amount of salt and just frying
Okay.
things. So that's not. It's my go-to meal on a day where I'm feeling like I want to be soul food. But if I want like a healthy meal, I make poke bowls, like vegan poke bowls with beets and avocado and like sushi rice and some ginger. That's my easy, and some green onions on the top. That's my like.
Stop
okay,
playing. I want that
sweet
right
meal.
now.
It's really
Right?
good.
That sounds
it's
really
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I went to a that Mediterranean spot by the house, the Market Grill, and I said Candy would enjoy this.
Oh, she likes the Mediterranean.
I love Mediterranean food.
Yeah,
We
she-
make pitas. We make homemade tzatziki sauce. I make the
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
rice from
Seem like-
scratch.
Stop
I love
playing.
it.
Seems like she
I
makes
made
that
my
every
own
week.
hummus. Yeah,
Oh,
the hummus.
nice.
Making my own hummus. It tastes so much better than the stores.
I bet it does.
Restaurants are
Because
better than yeah.
I tried their hummus. They had different flavors, but I tried their house hummus, and it's funny because Market Grill, what I tasted was refrigerator. So you pre-making that hummus and putting it in those little containers, and I don't know how long they may stay in the refrigerator. I could taste it. So it took away
Or they might
from
do
any flavor.
preservatives in there. Sometimes that changes the flavor a lot too.
Well, I wasn't a fan, but
Plus,
the
I
pita bread
wonder-
was on point.
I wonder what they put in there. It's like, I'm sure it's not a vegan type of tzatziki or whatever that stuff is called. So I wonder,
I don't know,
You
but
gotta
I
find
like the
those.
idea.
You gotta ask.
like, how do you make
That's what
yours?
I was gonna say.
Cashews.
Yogurt, actually, a vegan yogurt. You do a vegan
Okay,
yogurt with
you
some
use
dill
vegan
and some
yogurt.
cucumber. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try
Ooh.
that. You try that, and I'm gonna come over. For,
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try it. Yeah, so fire away, because it's all going to roll up into the benefits of the literal mushrooms, let alone the psychedelic mushrooms. And we're going to talk about both.
hey.
So,
Well, no, I was curious. I wanted to know. So
no, and please interject at any point things that you make that are great alternatives to some of the things we feel we can't let go.
Like
Yes.
meat.
meat.
Yeah, we make seitan at home too. If you don't have a gluten allergy, it's a good thing. It's not like super. I struggled with it a little bit. Taylor was on the phone when I was struggling.
Right, I was
But
on the
my
phone
boyfriend came in.
researching myself. Like, this is what you got to do. This man meated it. So I learned as well.
Because you have to knead it like bread, and then you boil it for 2 hours, and then you chop it, but you could freeze it. So we've made like
I'm fascinated.
sausages and like
Interesting.
different patties. And
So that was
made
what
it
was in
chicken.
your tacos.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
$7.99 on Amazon today.
Listen, Black community, are we listening?
Right.
Because we're talking about a lifestyle, and it's one that you have to find your niche, find the things you like. It's a lot of variety out here. This ain't old school.
Right.
You know, all you got to eat is some salad. There are a lot of variety of foods that are made. And listen, I'm going to say this one more time. We're already eating it. A lot of these restaurants are doing great substitutions, and they come out
Absolutely right
tasting
about
just
that.
like the thing, if not better, than we're used to. Listen, how do you know you're eating a mushroom burger?
Right. Especially if we don't know when we think that we're
And it's
eating it. It's a
ground
mental
up or
thing
it's-
probably as well.
Right.
Right.
And it's juicy. What? Right.
Yeah, those
So,
Impossible
real.
burgers are pretty tricky. They're really.
Yeah.
I
started-
triggered.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, so let's just get into the benefits of what mushrooms do, because we sell mushrooms short on what they do for antioxidant to the body. Imagine eating mushrooms and reducing your possibility of cancer by 45%. Not no weak number. 45%. Because of the antioxidants, the vitamins, vitamin rich. Let's get into it. So, I guess, what is it called? It's called, I don't know how to say this word. I guess it's ergothione. Is some kind of amino acid. That's easier to say. An antioxidant that prevents or slows cellular damage. And that's what cancer is on a great level. It's damaged cells that multiply and grow, right? They take
So with the mushrooms, they are very powerful in doing that. So there's this guy named Paul Stamets. He's like one of the top mycologists for mushrooms. So he does the health benefits, but he also looks at it from a climate change standpoint. So he bought some land in like Oregon somewhere, and it was like completely like trash because of all the pollution and stuff. Nobody wanted the land. He got it dirt cheap. And then he grew a mushroom farm, like a massive one on top of it. He was able to clean the water, and his water was better than some of his neighbors over there. So mushrooms have a big benefit to the planet. They have the mycelial networks. They can talk like with the trees and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
Oh, nice.
I can only imagine what it's doing in the body on the cellular level. It gets rid of
Right.
all those toxins and stuff. So I take mushroom supplements like every day.
Guess I'll start taking mushrooms.
Right.
Hello.
Eating mushrooms.
Hello.
I bought the powdered mushroom stuff from Sprouts, and I would put it in my smoothies. I've been doing that
That would be
for
the
about a year or two.
Because I do not like the way mushrooms taste. They're just that sliminess. So we were having that discussion on the way here.
Yeah,
I was
we
like,
were. So
I
let me
love
tell you
tried the
mushrooms,
coffee,
and
like the
neither
brown
one of my
ones?
kids.
No, but I should probably try it.
Let's
They
talk
don't.
about
They're
that.
not slimy. They're dry.
Yeah.
Oh,
shiitake.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Got it. And then I think it's important too. When you learn the benefits of it, then you learn to adjust your palate.
Right.
Right.
As long as you don't have any type of reaction, depending on how they prepare it. I'm gonna tell you something. The cannery, the one on East Craig, has a restaurant called Carve. It's a little steakhouse. I've had the best sauteed mushrooms that I've had in a long time. I don't know exactly what kind of mushrooms they were. The smaller, round ones. You could pop them. I mean, and you would just get them with your steak. Oh, it was on and cracking. But so the other thing that mushrooms do is cognitive health. And you guys know, if you've watched the show long enough, that we talk a lot about cognitive skills, Alzheimer's, neurons, and the neurological system and how it works, right? Mushrooms works really well for protecting brain health. So not only do you want to live long and healthier, you also want to be able to function mentally. And you know what I'm saying? You want to be able to, because we're going to cross over in just a moment and talk about them other things. But they're full of vitamin D. And you know what's crazy about mushrooms? They're like humans. So if you put them in the sun, their vitamin D increases. And they are the only produce full of vitamin D.
Yeah,
You know we don't get a lot of sun and a lot of vitamin D in the
That's a
way we're
crazy
supposed
fact.
to get it.
Yeah.
The only produce that is full of vitamin D, and you can put a handful in the sun for 15 minutes before you pop them, and it actually activates that vitamin D.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Tidbit,
Very good.
education, elevation moment.
Absolutely. Needed that.
If you take 3 mushrooms and slice them, or one portobello, and expose it to sunlight for 15 minutes, or eat one maitake, it doesn't need any sun. I mean, they don't need them anyway, but 15 minutes in the sun, and it's like activating.
I'm about to
Because
go buy some mushrooms.
they're
On the
like
way.
humans.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Because my
So-
kids don't like them either, but I love mushrooms.
Yeah.
I'll eat a mushroom burger. I'm on that
Yeah,
mushroom.
I'm a fan of
I'm a-
mushrooms. Yeah, I like them.
Whitney just said she likes mushrooms in her morning scramble with some spinach and bell peppers.
We do it all day.
All right, I'm gonna start
See,
sneaking
we do
it
it all
in,
day.
sneaking it in for
Yeah.
myself.
We do
Yeah.
it all day. Now, if I can eliminate the bacon,
Yeah.
so actually,
I thought you do turkey bacon.
I can't. Not in my.
Nah.
No.
Yeah.
I got rid
it's-
of. I started turkey bacon for a long time, and I got tired of it.
I know it's a little too
Okay.
wiry for me.
It is. Okay.
I don't know what part of the turkey they getting this day.
Leah was looking at my turkey. I made a turkey meatloaf, and my daughter was like, "Oh, this look fake." I was looking at it like,
yeah, I
"This turkey
did
does
too.
look a little fake."
It do be looking a little
It's gray
unreal,
and-
yeah.
It's good though.
Candy cane. Talk to me about the substitution of mushrooms for meat and plant-based proteins.
Yeah, so like I said, the lion's mane, that's one I fry for like a fish. I use the fish batter on it, so that's
I meant to
really
go back to
good.
that. I'm glad you said that. So, what are we talking about? How do you prepare that as a fish dish?
So I go get the mushrooms. I soak it in some like milk, like oat milk or something, and then I put the same type of batter that I would. So all your regular seasonings like garlic, onion powder, pepper, salt, and then I shake it in the bag, and then I fry it in avocado oil, and it comes out finger looking good. Like it's so good.
It comes out.
Okay.
Finger looking good. No, she said she's allergic to
know,
mushrooms.
Oh,
Well, we're
Wow.
gonna have to, there is a substitute for everything. So
Yes, it is.
just get more sun and take some vitamin D, even if it's ground up or no matter how it's prepared.
Right.
Because I know mushrooms is a fungus, so it could definitely have
it is.
allergenic
Oh, I didn't think about
properties.
that. Let me not venture out on too many
Yeah,
mushrooms.
because you
Right.
might need an EpiPen.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
Let me not get
Keep
too
your
mushroom
EpiPen
happy. I'm
ready.
gonna just get some ground up, the powder, and call it a day.
And call it a day. So
She said I take
Yeah.
vitamin D every day. Not
You
with the
go, girl.
eyeballs.
Me
Okay,
too.
Miss
I
Mary,
know,
ma'am.
listen.
Okay, Miss Mary, ma'am.
honey. You better get you some.
Somebody.
It is good for your health. I'm gonna take a moment to read one of the MVP gave me this on the way out the door. I've got a couple of these, and the first one that I came to, it says, "This life is for you." Shout out to MVP.
Nice.
Because she is consistent with her crooked letter I. These is crooked, girl. Where your paper cutter?
That would be me. My left hand.
So, yeah, I was reading that portobello mushrooms are good for the burgers. So people order them on top of the burgers, but they could actually be a burger patty. And
I've done that before.
Yep, and you can use them in stews, sandwiches, chili, tacos. I haven't tried it, but the creminis transform into a meat-like texture, and it's ideal for stir fries. So don't be surprised if that's what they serving in the stir fry spots.
Right.
I did make a that was really good. I made a shrimp and grits out of, I think they're called like royal mushrooms or something like that. So I chopped it up, I cut it in the shape of a shrimp, and then I soaked it in like a little bit of seaweed.
She makes everything.
Yeah, it was fire. I was like, man, I think so this. Yeah, it was very.
So here's what we need. We need a cookbook.
Right.
You need to start making some recipes.
Yeah, document them.
Yeah,
that's
dope.
true. I should. Yeah,
that'd be dope because it's a whole community that are trying to transform their lives.
Yeah,
it really is. We are not having a blanket conversation because just to be talking. It's going down in these streets.
Yes, it is.
When it comes to how our food is being delivered to the table, all the way from manufactured, slaughtering, maintaining it with preservatives just to get here to us by whatever method it got here, whether it was crook, hook, or stuck. You know what I'm saying? And then they deliver it to us.
And even if we,
then it's on our table.
Change up our diets a few times a week, incorporate no meat for a few days. Easier said than done, but because I think as Americans, we base our meals around the meat.
Yeah,
we did. It's the meat and potatoes.
Yeah,
it sure do.
The meat and the starch. I was gonna say that, and a lot of the illnesses that affect our community, like high blood pressure and diabetes, we have them the most out of any group of people. It's because of how we're eating. So I have my baby watching me. So I wanna teach completely different habits to her when it comes to her food and what she recognizes as breakfast. Because I feel like being vegan, the hardest part is the mental transition from like, am I eating fruit for breakfast? Like, what? Like that has all the substance and some water that I need, but instead I'm used to like potatoes and eggs.
Yeah.
So those things.
My body craves it now.
Challenge.
So when I wake up in the morning, I can't put that on my stomach anymore unless I'm out for brunch and everything just smells and looks good. But otherwise, when I'm at home, breakfast is a different story now. It's not as attractive as it used to be. Plus, I'm a breakfast person. Y'all know I could eat breakfast morning, noon, and night. So it was the easiest thing for me to let go. And then I started incorporating the yogurts, the fruits, the veggies, the smoothies. I don't always have to have what looks like a traditional breakfast.
Right.
And then by noon, I might want to fry and make a breakfast sandwich type deal. But yeah, it is a mindset. MJ said, make sure people. Oh, I was reading a comment. Make sure people are getting our blood tests to understand what, if any, allergies you might have when you try these alternatives. Yeah, because you don't want to learn the hard way.
Yeah, that is true.
I've learned the hard way plenty of times.
Some of these allergens are because our bodies are actually used to the toxins.
Yeah.
So everything you do is a transition. Right. So you had to get past all the greasy foods and the stomach aches to get to the point that you could eat that type of shit every day. And then you have at some point you have accepted that you're gonna eat it and it's gonna treat your body bad. You're gonna eat it, you've accepted that. So point being, we have to reevaluate how we see our food. I mean, we've been saying for a long time we eat to live.
Right. Not live to eat.
And I would say as we change, we have to. I would encourage everyone to like slowly go into it, because when you're with the and be kind to yourself, because there's so many different choices and you got to kind of figure out a whole new way of being. And when you make a small change, like I can't drink the way that I used to. I really can't drink.
That's right.
Kind of like at all. because I don't have any of the starch in my stomach to kind of hold it down. So
Absorb it.
if I
Stop
have little
playing.
B1, yeah. But I made the mistake and tried to drink, a couple on the weekend, and I got a really bad hangover just from. So it was just like a little bit of trial and error and things. But then I had to realize, I was like, is drinking that much something that I want to continue doing? Even though it wasn't like a crazy amount, I'm just saying in general,
Right.
learning how
In
to scale
general.
back.
Yeah.
I was okay with the perceived loss.
Didn't that Taqueria make vegan wine and
I think so. We had got
alcohol?
margarita, but
And that margarita was strong.
Yeah, it was very strong.
So they make it different.
It was
it's
strong.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
They said
SCO
they had
strong.
vegan
Like,
wine and vegan beer, if I'm not mistaken, at that place. So I don't know if that would be a little bit more easy on the
I
stomach.
do kombucha. That's my lane now.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
I
hard
do like
kombucha
the.
got like
I like
just
the.
a small amount of alcohol in it.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Um, but I did read that shiitake might beat pork as a bacon, and I thought, what? Let me go
haven't
deeper
tried
into
that.
that. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna have to research that.
right. I'm gonna have to research that.
Right.
So that listen, they're great on the grill. You can grill them like zucchini, or my favorite emoji, eggplant. Marinate them. So yeah, they're full of vitamin B6, full of selenium, and it makes antioxidants. So that's just the benefits of eating
Eating.
mushrooms. Let's talk about the psychedelic mushrooms. The shrooms, the Alice, the magic mushrooms was the old school lingo for mushrooms. We knew it as shrooms. But that ain't what it is. Let's just be clear. This isn't about having a trippy trip type trip. This is actually about the long lasting effects that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has described the psilocybin, whatever it's called, the psilocybin. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Psilocybin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've described it as breakthrough medicine. So speaking of E says she want to try mushroom medicine, but she's scared.
Right.
Well, don't be scared.
Maybe go get allergy tested, like MJ says.
Right.
Allergy tested. Because they are recognizing that shrooms will now be legal. And let me tell you something. The breakthrough for PTSD and mental disorders is
Yep.
off the chain.
Yep.
They can no
Depression,
longer deny.
anxiety.
Yep.
They can no longer deny that normal antidepressants meds is working,
Right.
but that mushrooms, have an effect it's about to be legal. It's about to be legal. So let's talk about shrooms. They call them psychedelic mushrooms, but the reason I think they call them psychedelic because UCLA did a study. And they were saying that what it does is it's called brain system synchronization. It's like the synchronized swimming in your head. You know what I'm saying? What it does is it improves areas that don't normally communicate well in your brain. Period. And so think about how much of the brain we don't use.
Right.
Because of trauma. Deeper, secrets in different parts of our brain that we just don't use because we don't exercise enough of the brain with information, with even travel opens up different parts of your brain because of the exposure to things and elements that you're not used to.
Yep.
Well, that's what the mushrooms are supposed to be doing to help with headaches, obsessive compulsive disorders, anxiety, anorexia, and substance abuse.
That makes sense.
Anorexia.
So, Candy, talk to me.
About I know
some
they're
of your
doing a lot of
research.
different trials. Yeah, they're doing a lot of different trials on that. I want to say they have like a place out here that they opened up. I read about. So they have some people that they come in they've been studying for, but they come in, they give them the mushrooms. I think they lay on the bed for like an hour or something, and they watch them, and they've been able to like improve a lot of their mental health issues. like the ones you mentioned, PTSD, depression. I know that they're also looking, the studies I've read talk about microdosing the mushrooms. So
Mm-hmm.
you would just
Yeah,
take
I've heard
a
about
small
that.
amount every single day, like so you don't get trippy, just enough to help like balance, and
Balance.
using that instead of
Mm.
like Xanax or whatever they're prescribing the other ones too. So,
Yeah. Those antidepressants that actually lead to other shit, and then it usually
Mm-hmm.
leads to you being even more depressed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about it
Yeah, I'm excited
because
to
I
try it
have
too.
experimented a mushroom or two.
You have? How was your experience?
Um, I think I said this at one time. I remember sitting at the table with the people that I was with, and I put my hand on my chin and I went, I just feel pleasant. So that just tells you I've never used the word pleasant before.
That is funny. No, I've
I
had
felt,
tea.
yeah,
The tea was
I've had
interesting.
tea. I've had a peel form.
Okay.
Chocolates.
Janae gave me some chocolate. It's still sitting where it's
Mine
sitting.
is still sitting where it's sitting too.
Oh,
I don't want to take a
look.
trip by myself.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, if I do this by myself, I don't know how I'm going to feel.
Right.
Rihanna did it on her birthday. She went to Monterey to the beach, and her and two of her best
Oh,
friends,
see, that sounds fun.
they did it on the beach.
Was it a bonfire?
Right. Did they jump in the pool?
She said it was cool
Or
until
the
they
water?
went to a restaurant to try to get some food. Then it became a little fiasco because they was sitting in the restaurant tripping. And, you
See,
know.
you can't go out like that. If you're going to be at the beach, be at the beach. Make sure you got some food with you.
Right.
Yeah,
Going
you
out in
kinda-
public is too
you
much.
really have to enjoy the experience, and I
Yes.
think it needs to be sort of. I won't call it ritualistic, but I do think that there needs to be an objective or a focus
The
or
setting,
a
right.
setting. It needs to be
Your
safe and comfortable.
Right.
The energy should be
Right.
right. I'm
Right.
not going out and about off of mushrooms.
Because listen, if they're talking about neurological differences that these supposed psychedelics or mushrooms are causing, it's opening up parts of the brain that we don't use. And it's synchronizing that. So think about neurons are firing. Things are kind of, it's a lot of movement going on in there. And that's what you want, because neurons are what keeps your brain healthy. You know, it's when they die and they don't rejuvenate.
So-
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I believe God rejuvenates whatever's going to be
Right.
rejuvenated. But however, you need to know that the benefits. Because when somebody says mushrooms, don't be alarmed anymore because they're about to be legal. When somebody say I'm going to smoke a joint, let them go smoke a joint because it's legal. I mean, all I'm saying is these things that we're getting back to natural, we're getting back there very quickly. So don't be alarmed when people are, indulging in things that actually make them feel better. So speaking of feel better, life is very, very stressful, and I can feel it, and it's been stressful, high level for quite some time, right? And so Candy and I were talking about breathing and the importance of breathing, because a lot of anxiety and issues that arise have to do with panicking and anxiety and anxiousness, right?
Right.
Breathe.
yes.
Take
so breathing and meditation. So breath is your connection to life. Anything that is living has a breathing process. So really learning how to control your breath and be aware of it. A lot of times anxiety has to do with the future, what may or may not happen, or things that we don't want
Right.
to happen in most cases. And so we think about that stuff and we get all stressed out, and it's easy to do because I think in today's environment we have so many things firing at us. Like if you're working from home and then your kids and then
Right.
your man, or just whatever you got going on around you, and you're trying to keep up with all these things. There's not like separate when you used to go into the office and it was just office stuff, and then when you got home it was home stuff. Everything is kind of all piled in
bunched
Yeah, the
together.
lines are blurry.
Lines are blurring, changes on everything. About every time I go to the store, I'm like, what's going on today? Or what's,
Right.
what am I going to see today? The news is like wacky, and like everybody's fighting everybody over something. So learning to be able to take in the moments. I think when you breathe, it allows you to connect with your inner peace and be able to find things that you are happy about or peaceful about, even if it's like something minor or just anything that you can find like gratitude for. That's usually where I go when I practice my breathing, because If I don't, my heart gets to thumping. It goes.
Sorry, we got some random comments and shit. Charles Ephraim talking about the best way to breathe is through oral sex.
What?
Oh.
Let me think about that.
I know. She said, oh.
Let me think about that. So, anyway.
All right.
Well, if you, in absence of that, you really do need to be able to find that rhythm. Because one of the things I had to learn when I was dealing with anxiety was at the moment of the trigger, whatever that is, watch your heart rate. Mm-hmm. There is a moment in time that you can stop it by breathing and listening to your own breath. Because listening to your own breath, let's just do it for a second. Listen to your own breath. It's hard to hear a lot of other stuff. Because now I got to control my breathing and focus on my breathing. So get that moment where you're not, where it hasn't already surpassed a place of an attack, or the mind starts to race and then it starts to speak very negatively to yourself. Because lack of oxygen to this very brain that we're talking about protecting is a lot of reason for a lot of things. We don't realize that the lack of water and the lack of oxygen can cause a lot of mental disorders. Because the water is what's carrying the oxygen in your red blood cells. Yes, they need to be plump. When you go get your blood drawn, do they have a difficult time getting that water? Right, getting that, because that's the blood. So you need to be drinking a lot more water, and you need to be breathing. Oxygen is the key to life. Yep. And it's full with that. It's free.
And it's free for now.
For now.
For now. Right.
Real shit. So, yeah, everybody listening and everybody who tuning in, I'm so glad that you came to support the show.
Yes,
we always trying to deliver something good and healthy and fruitful and edifying. You can't say we own, you know what I'm saying? We bringing you good stuff, and I throw a little humor in there just because of who I am. Speaking of who I am, next Thursday I will be featuring at the Square Bar downstairs from the radio station. And the last time I was in there, I had a little sachet little dude come over tell me I couldn't be in there because I bought food, so I can't wait to cut that stage. But yep.
We was put out.
Sign-ups at 8.
They kicked us out.
Show starts at 9. We got kicked out of the Square Bar. Now I'm coming back to your stage.
Right.
As a feature. Right. And then I want everybody to let everybody know that you know me. You know who Jnine is. So, Candy, it's always a pleasure.
Yes.
Whenever we're together, we always have these kind of discussions. So this is not new to us.
I want more. I need more
anything you need to send us out with in terms of healthy lifestyle and healthy choices? Go ahead.
I'm going to bring up her... the other part, which has nothing to do with this, but the business that you have, so that we get that out there.
Rugs. We make custom rugs. Yes.
We got about 30 seconds.
Rug Addicts, RUGADDIX. We do all kinds of custom work, so Peppa Pig, different logos for companies, and things like that. Yep, we make handmade tufted rugs.
So where do we find those rugs?
Instagram, Rug Addicts, RUGADDIX.
Okay, RUG
ADD
ADD as in dog.
IX.
Okay. Just put it in the comments real quick. So anyway, I'm so glad that you joined us. Send us out.
Yes, thank you so much.
Healthy lifestyle.
Oh, it's a good healthy lifestyle. Be kind to yourself. Trust your intuition. Make sure that you breathe, drink your water, and take it one step at a time. You can do this. You got this. It's necessary.
Hey. It's necessary.
Yes, indeed.
I love it. So take us on home. So good night, Candy Cane. Thank you for joining us.
All right.
It is
Get
It Together with Jnine
and Jezzi.
and we are out. God bless.